So yeah, what's your name?
My name is Dawit, Dawit Abraham. I'm a founder, I'm an engineer, software engineer, and so many things actually, but I guess we'll learn about those over the course of the conversation.
Okay, a jack of many trades.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's interesting. I
Yeah.
mean, I like
Do you know
that.
that saying?
Of,
A jack of all trades is a master of none. Do you know the full saying?
no, I
The
just
full
know until
saying,
none.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
They cut it off. I don't know why. The full saying goes, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. To be a jack of all trades than to be a master of one trade.
That's true, especially in the world of today
Yes.
and the economy. You better know many things. You better know how to do many
Absolutely.
things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you better know how to do many
Yeah.
things. Yeah. So tell us a fun fact about you. Something interesting
Fun
about
fact. All right. I can mention that story. So, I was born and raised in Ethiopia. So when I was a child, so my parents were very like strict when it comes to education, right? Like they were like there.
Yeah.
And so this was, I guess, when I was maybe 13 or something like that, right? We had a national exam coming up, and so my dad was very serious about it, and he's like, you better like end up in the top 1% of your class,
Yeah.
or you're not gonna watch movies or play games or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I take my games very seriously.
Yeah.
I take my movie time very seriously.
Yeah.
So I ended up studying very hard.
Yeah.
And at the end of that year, I ended up not being in the 1% of my class. I was in the top 0.4% of my country.
Wow.
So it was like a national exam that everyone took,
Yeah.
and I had a 99.6 percentile.
Wow. Interesting.
And then ever since then, it's been very easy to convince my dad, like, hey, I'm a good student. Let me have my games. Let me have my movies. Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And then what happened after that?
Interesting. You want to know another interesting fact about me?
Yeah, sure.
I am an international Taekwondo black belt.
What?
Yes.
You're joking.
Yes. So throughout high school,
Yeah.
I actually spent 4 to 5 years
Wow.
learning martial arts, like Taekwondo, international Taekwondo. And yeah, my sister is actually even a first degree black belt. So it's like once you get your black belt, you keep adding more degrees onto it, first, second, and stuff like that.
Wow.
And she's my younger sister, so it's like
Okay.
very shameful for me. But but yeah, so I did a bunch of different things. I did sports. I was accepted into a couple of U.S. universities, but no one was willing to give me like a full scholarship.
Yeah.
So I decided to go to Addis Ababa University, which is like the best university in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And I loved it. So glad that I actually went there. Not because I love school, honestly. I attended maybe 10% of my classes, but I loved the freedom that it actually gave me to just do my own thing. Look, so I got into the School of Electrical and Computer Engineering.
Yeah.
And on, I guess, our second year, I was introduced to programming, specifically the C programming language. And that was my first language.
Okay.
A lot of people say, like, if you want to be crazy, study C.
That as your first language.
Yeah. So, but it was really interesting for me, and it was actually C++, so it was a little less crazy.
Yeah.
But I fell in love with programming right there.
Okay.
And I've been in love with programming ever since.
Yeah.
I started building games very early on, like third year and stuff like this. This was back in 2013, right?
Wow.
So that was when I built my first like fully flushed game, and it was a chase game. You know, Chase Titans.
Yeah.
So it was Chase Titans, but it was built purely based on Java, and that was just like a very stupid thing for me to do. But it was actually very challenging, and ever since then I kept building games. I eventually started building games on Unity, Godot actually even. And eventually I built my first game, and I decided I wanted to actually be in business with that game. Right? Honestly, it was just generally because I was very passionate about it. I didn't want to do anything else. I just wanted to build games, and I wanted to be a company that built games. And there was no company in Ethiopia that built games, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to open the first one.
Wow.
And so this was in 2016. I launched the first gaming company in Ethiopia. Failed miserably, and it was
I
like
think the first time is
yeah,
almost always a
crazy.
guarantee. I don't know why, and it's sad.
Oh, it's and it was crazy because you learned a lot. Like it was me and a couple of my co-founders. We went through a very hard time.
Yeah.
Fundraising is hard in Ethiopia, especially
Yeah.
like building the first gaming company was hard in Ethiopia because there's no really where do you go to hire your game developers, right? Like
Yeah.
because there's really not a community of that.
Yeah.
So we had to build that community from scratch, and pretty much struggled monetizing as well.
Yeah.
The only thing that was really good about what we did back then was the product, because it was a very beautiful product. Everybody loved it. It even got to win the best entertainment app in Africa. It was an award that we won in 2018. And a lot of competitors there. Like, I mean, Vodacom became second. Imagine.
Wow.
So that was a huge win for us. So a
Of
small
course,
team
I can imagine.
of like what 10 to 15
Yeah.
like people in Ethiopia building this beautiful product that goes and wins like an amazing
Yeah.
prize in the continent, and a lot of people really loved it. And eventually we started, like honestly, eventually that game became the reason we became profitable in Ethiopia. But that was like 2022 or something like that. But ups and downs and stuff like that. I started another company, a ride-hailing company, failed again
Yeah.
because it was so hard to get funding for that as well.
Yeah.
But it got to a point where like we had 500 or so drivers using it, so it wasn't like really just from scratch. It was like going somewhere, but then I couldn't really fund it.
Yeah.
I worked as a game developer, so I was a senior game developer working remotely. Actually, something you know very well about.
Yeah.
And I worked for a company in the U.S. through Turing. It's like a remote software outsourcing platform.
Yeah.
So I worked with them for a year, and almost a year actually.
Yeah.
And I've also been a teacher. I taught at Gabea. Gabea is like one of the leading edtech platforms in Ethiopia, East Africa actually.
Yeah.
And I taught mobile application engineering, and I spent a lot of time actually on that, like 2 or so years. I think I've had over like 500 plus like graduates of software engineering who come to the school to become more advanced programmers. So I was like a teacher. What else? What did I do? And then I eventually started Kenny Games in 2019, and that became I guess more successful than the previous things we've done.
Yeah.
Eventually we built this game that was super successful. We sold it to a publisher in South Africa and in the US. And eventually, I also spent some time in the US. I spent time with founders. I learned that I was so stupid and I was doing things the wrong way. Because honestly, it was like a group of like founders from all over the world. And honestly, it was one of the best experiences for me. I got to see how founders all over the world worked, and that really gave me, like a reality check on how I was doing things. And eventually, we pivoted. We figured out a really good product to build, which was Beemi, and then eventually raised like $1 million USD from investors from all over the world, really. And now we're here, I guess.
Wow. What is the one thing that you were doing wrong before that you learned, the highlight that you learned when you met these founders?
Oh my God. One.
Okay.
I can write a book on all the things I did wrong. Are you just one? Oh my God. Okay. Oh man. All right. So I would say the biggest mistake I would say we made early on was we spent too much overthinking the product.
Okay.
We were very passionate engineers, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you do when you're like really excited about what you're building.
Exactly.
You forget that you're building it not for yourself, but for others. That was our biggest mistake. And eventually we launched our first game after a year and a half in production. Imagine a year and a half where we could have been learning what not to build.
Yeah, and
Yes.
what is working and what is not
Literally.
working.
Oh my God, that was our biggest mistake. I would just say that was the biggest one. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's
Yeah.
true. It's true. We
Yeah.
overthink a lot about when you're
Yeah.
passionate about something. You're like you
That's true.
forget it's not for you. It's for the
Exactly.
customers. It's for the
Exactly.
clients, for the community.
Exactly.
Yeah, but now you
Exactly.
know better.
Oof. Oh my God. This product, we didn't even build a product. We just built a video demo
Yeah.
of what it might look like, and then started shipping it to influencers, and like
Yeah.
got very, very early feedback
Yeah.
before we even started building the product. And this was like back in 2023, like mid 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge lesson, honestly. We spent one of the things now that I do, I try to spend more time
Yeah.
with the people that I'm solving the problem for. That's really one of the biggest things that I've changed. And
Yeah.
it really takes a lot of effort to do that, by the way. So
Yeah.
naturally, I'm not an extroverted person, right?
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of person. It's like, if we had a meeting and you cancel on me, oh,
Ah,
I love it. Oh my
like, say,
God.
do you want to do this
That's gonna
interview?
be when you cancel on me, I'm just gonna be so happy that day. I'm just gonna have like, oh, I have the rest of the day to myself, alone, wherever I am. So it's like it's very hard for me to
Yeah.
just like socialize, right? But I learned that if I'm going to build something useful to
Yeah.
people,
You have
you
to
have
talk
to
to
spend time with people. You
Yeah.
have to talk to them. You have to
Yeah.
understand who they are, how they work,
Yeah.
what the problem is,
Yeah.
how they've tried to solve it in the past.
Yeah.
Do they even care about it, right? Like, maybe there's this incredibly annoying problem,
Yeah.
and you tell me about it, and yeah, and like, how did you try to solve it? And like, I didn't try. Guess what? Means that's not a problem, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that's something you only understand from spending time with people,
Yeah.
and that's really something that I've. And there's this saying like, go out of the building, right? Like
Yeah.
instead of spending time with your computer just building
Yeah.
the product, just go out of the building, come to the space like this and spend some time with an incredible influencer and talk to her. You gave
Yeah.
me so many incredible insights, by the
Yeah.
way. Generally,
True.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
talk to people. I don't know if
Absolutely.
I'm right about this, but I keep saying actually the reason why Facebook became popular and the reason Facebook is what Facebook is or Meta now is because when Zuckerberg was building it, he didn't think about the tech, and he thought about the people
Yeah.
and the feelings.
That's
and they're like,
true.
hey, what did you do yesterday?
That's
What did so? And that's how it just became.
Absolutely.
Tech comes later.
Yes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Absolutely. And whenever you
Yeah.
get, so I get an invite to an event,
Yeah.
and I'm like, do you want to come? No.
Yeah.
And I type yes. Because all of me doesn't want to go there.
Yeah.
I don't want to go. I just want to be alone, home, coding or watching a movie or something.
Yeah.
But I'm telling myself,
Yeah.
get out of that mentality. So for the past like few years, I force myself to go there, to be with the people, to spend time with anyone who's willing to talk to me about the problem that they're having, right? And that's really how you build that relationship with potential customers.
So, can you tell us about Beemi? What is Beemi?
Beemi, interesting. So Beemi is all about live streaming, right? So over the past years, influencers have started to live stream quite a lot. And there's this new shift of new influencers who are actually doing lifestyle streams or casual streams, just chatting streams. So in the past, it used to be, you were very good at playing a game, and it could be FIFA or Call of Duty, and you're on your PC and you have your streaming set up and you're streaming that game to your audience and people are watching it, right? Now there's this new type of streaming where you're not necessarily playing any games like that. You don't have a PC set up, you're just on your phone and you're just trying to connect with your audience and you're trying to have a fun time and have an authentic kind of relationship set up with your followers, right? So Beemi, what it does is it helps you with that. So these are like fun social games like trivia or things like that people can just go live with, and you get to play with your audience, and your audience is there playing the trivia, answering, connecting with you. You're just having fun, you're enjoying yourself and connecting on a deeper level with your audience. And this is something we've built for influencers who are actually trying to live stream on TikTok and on YouTube and Twitch. So the best thing about Beemi is it doesn't require you to just grow a new audience on Beemi. It's actually a tool that works with your existing audience. So if you have like a couple of thousand followers on TikTok and you want to have fun with them, you can just like use Beemi, connect it with TikTok, launch a game on a live stream, and they'll actually join that live stream on your TikTok and just play with you and have fun with you.
I think it's a brilliant idea, honestly. And the fact that you don't have to grow from scratch, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
and I think what I like about it most is, for me, as long as I can learn from something,
Yeah.
I mean, entertainment is important. Even from movies, we learn a lot. We learn words, we learn how to,
true, yeah.
do or not do things.
Yeah.
So I see it as an opportunity to learn while having fun. And
Yeah.
that is what I like most. So, yeah. So is this the first time that you're bringing Beemi to Nairobi?
Yes. So
And,
right now, you are actually the second person in Nairobi to stream it.
Woohoo!
So there you go. So this is the first time where we're actually having it here, and it's sort of becoming popular in Ethiopia. A lot of Ethiopian influencers are actually using it to go live on TikTok, mainly on TikTok. We've had some streamers using it on Twitch, some users in South Africa, but this is actually a very first time it's actually coming to Nairobi, Kenya.
How has been the response so far with the?
Oh my God, I love the people here. So everyone is so excited about it. Like
Yeah.
influencers. I think Nairobi is, Kenya is like the #1 social media country in Africa.
Yeah.
It's like-
Not South Africa.
I think it's Kenya. Because a
Okay.
lot of the things that I see, like a lot of the numbers that I see point to Kenya. And a lot of influencers here are so smart. They know exactly what to do with it. They see Beemi, they know exactly how to use it and where to use it and how much it can actually help them. So it's like they've been very excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping they'll take it and use it as much as they want.
They probably will. I have no doubt about that for sure. Yeah. If I'm an influencer or a creator,
Yeah.
so what value do I get other than, of course, having fun and connecting with my audience, which
Yeah.
is why we are on social media. That connection is important.
Yeah.
So what other value do I get from using Beemi as opposed to just going to my TikTok and just streaming directly
Right.
or just doing a live without, like the way we are having a
Yeah.
conversation.
Right.
So what value does Beemi give me as a creator or influencer?
Yeah.
Why should I use Beemi, in short?
So a lot of our top users on Beemi
Yeah.
are people. So these are influencers. They know that a live stream can help them grow their account. They know that they create a very authentic relationship with their audience. The live streaming followers are going to be your most loyal followers because they've spent time in real time with you, like for a very
Yeah.
long time, right?
Yeah.
And they know all of this, and yet they don't live stream.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of them that I've been talking. And I asked them, why don't you go live? You know this?
Yeah.
Why don't you go live? And it's because it takes a certain type of effort
Yeah.
to engage a live audience,
That is true.
to entertain them, to
Yeah.
keep them on the live
Yeah.
stream. And a lot of people either resort to talking about politics, talking about religion, or arguing or something like that to kind of make it a bit entertaining for people to stay.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do something like that, people are going to watch you for 15 seconds and just
And
bounce.
that's-
all right.
yeah.
So what Beemi does is it actually it puts entertainment in your streams through games.
Yeah.
So if you have a trivia game running, it can be anything really.
Yeah.
Like it could be what would I press the button, right? And then it says, okay, if I press this button, I get to become invisible, but I'll never be able to speak again. Will I press the button? That's a very fun question to ask. And then your audiences can tell you whether they do that or not, or whether you think, they think that you do that or not. And then you can actually see what percentage of your audience thinks this way or the other way. That's just a fun experience.
Yeah.
You have, Family Feud.
Yeah.
Family Feud, Steve Harvey, right?
Yeah.
So you ask questions.
Yeah.
It could be anything like, where can one stay overnight if they're not staying home? Where could they be? And then people would be answering at the club or doing this, and then people would be getting answers right there. So your audience is not just watching you anymore. They're actually actively playing the game with you. And if I'm part of the audience and I say something that's in your list of answers, if I'm the first to say it, the app will actually recognize it and it will put me on a leaderboard, and I will be having fun. I'll actually be engaging with you and stuff like that. So by doing that, we've noticed that there's a minimum of a 5 times increase in average viewer retention. So if someone is staying on average for like a minute, on average that goes to 5 minutes, and that's average. Like a majority of the audiences on Beemi TikTok lives, they are in the live stream for hours because they love the trivias, they love the games, they love hanging out in a very fun environment. So suddenly you no longer need to just perform to keep your audience. The game is just going to do that for you. And then you have interaction, right? Interaction really grows your TikTok viewership. Like when people are actually staying longer, when they're actually interacting with you, it actually helps you get more and more and more followers, because more people are actually going to come to the stream and stay longer. So that just generally helps you grow your account much faster.
I think it's true. Which would be your next country to go to?
Honestly, we have our eyes on the US.
Yeah.
Because we already have a lot of demand coming from the US. Actually, when you look at our analytics, there's demand from all over the world. Like the best thing about Beemi is that it's organic, right? Like you see a bunch of people testing it and you want to try it out for yourself. And that's been working very well for us, where you have like these requests coming in from all over the country, all over the world. And we've been successful in the past with some of the games that we've built and making them, like one of the last game that we built, it has over like 200,000 monthly active users right now in the US. So we're thinking, okay, maybe the US is the next market for this. We also see potential for Nigeria. Nigeria is the one country that I'm so excited about. And I think would be so excited about this app as well. So there's South Africa, because we already have some users in South Africa, and that's actually taking over. And we don't want to limit the app in any way whatsoever. So anyone in the world can actually take it up.
Exactly.
But when it comes to where I'll be in person, trying to actually talk to the users and seeing what specific things that they need that we can actually build into the product, these are the countries that I'm actually considering just spending more time in myself.
Because eventually one country understands it better, it spreads. It's like
true.
TikTok. Hey, do you know how long it took me to understand TikTok? Hey, what is this thing? What is going on here? It took a while, but now you see, now everyone is on TikTok doing funny stuff there.
I know. TikTok was crazy. I mean, I got on TikTok in 2019.
Wow.
And I saw the content there, and I loved it. So I had Instagram, and a lot of our friends had Instagram, right? And I saw TikTok because it was very interesting, and the content in there was so funny. I was being entertained. On Instagram, I'm just looking at my friends doing something, and I'm like, I don't care. And I'm like, who cares? You're in Brazil, okay, good for you. TikTok was fun. It was genuinely entertaining me, and I was just like so hooked. And then I realized, okay, this is gonna be the next big thing. And I was having an argument with my friend. I was telling him, TikTok is going to be bigger than Instagram. And he's just like, are you crazy? In what world? With some weird Chinese app? What is it even? I don't even know. Going to be bigger than Instagram. Like I'm telling you, the only thing you need to know is when you open TikTok, you're having fun. As opposed to, and then Instagram and YouTube, all of them, brought reels and shorts and stuff like that.
And
eventually,
match the TikTok energy. To be honest, okay, you're very right. Instagram is very boring. I don't like spending a lot of time there, honestly. And you rarely learn anything.
That's true.
But TikTok, if you set your feed well and the algo understands what you're interested in, it keeps showing you these videos that teach you stuff. You'll never see that on
That's very true.
Let me tell you, one thing I hate about Instagram, even when they say they are creating their own creator editing app for videos, I was like, first you need to fix your algorithm. Because I follow people on Instagram, my friends that I'm with all the time. Like, for example, the ones I'm going to play football with after this. But they will post something. I will never see it. I will see
Interesting.
CNBC, I will see
Interesting.
Forbes, I'll see
Yeah.
all these things on my
You don't
feed.
see their stuff.
I will have to go and search so that I can see
Very
the post that my
interesting.
friend, whom we follow each other,
Yeah.
has just posted. So I'm
Crazy.
just like, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Very
Like, why are you
interesting,
showing
yeah.
me Forbes and all these things? I
Yeah.
follow these people because I'm interested in
Yeah.
seeing what they're posting.
Yeah.
So my friend was telling me, now me what I've done, I've gone to all my friends and I've created an alert.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
Wow. Just so you see a post when they
Yeah.
do. Oh my God, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
So,
That's crazy. Jesus.
yeah, and I read somewhere that now they've realized Reels it's not going to match up with TikTok. So
Probably not,
Meta is
yeah.
creating their own TikTok.
Their own TikTok.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. They're on Twitter, now they're on TikTok, they're eventually on their own YouTube.
I'm
It's
telling